Right now, you're about to find out what turns the lights off in your brain, where humans have a third eye, whether you're a night owl, an early bird, or a dove, why your dreams get so unbelievably weird, and most importantly, how long you can actually go without sleep. Let's go. Let's start with a paradox. Have you ever had coffee, but instead of feeling awake, you just started yawning even more? Then you're drinking it wrong. For coffee to really work, you need to sleep a little. It even has a name, a coffee nap. Here's the deal. Every cell makes a molecule called ATP, the body's energy fuel. When we burn it, it leaves behind trash, adenosine, the fatigue molecule. Adenosine sits on receptors in the brain and slows it down. But those receptors can be tricked. Caffeine gets there before adenosine, like in musical chairs, and stops fatigue from doing its job. And if you sleep for about 20 minutes after drinking coffee, some adenosine leaves the receptors on its own, so caffeine gets even more room. The key is to wake up after 20 minutes, before you drop into deep sleep. But caffeine is just one player among dozens of chemicals that control sleep. Let's start with the neuron. You have billions of them, and they talk through electricity, racing at speeds up to 270 miles per hour, like a pellet from an air gun. That's why Formula One drivers can make a turn. Their perception is faster than the car itself. The current runs when cells let in positively charged sodium ions. The wave races down the chain like fans doing the wave in a stadium. But if negatively charged chloride ions go in, the cells shut themselves in like introverts. The current dies, and we start lagging. Sleep is basically a blackout of the nervous system. Not the whole system, only the part responsible for thinking and contact with the outside world. In the brain, two teams of chemicals are constantly fighting over this. Team drive keeps you awake. Serotonin, dopamine, the reward system. Team chill wants to knock you out, and its main player is gamma-aminobutyric acid, or GABA. The name alone makes you sleepy. This sleep switch sits right where the optic nerves cross. Have you ever seen this fight happen in real life? You're falling asleep, and suddenly you jerk awake because it feels like you're falling. That's team chill switching off the part of the brain that tracks your body's position. And the jerk is wakefulness fighting back, an ancient primate reflex meant to wake you instantly if you were falling out of a tree. We swapped the tree for an IKEA bed, but the software never got updated. Before that switch can flip, two keys need to turn. The first is cellular fatigue, the same adenosine. The second is a signal from your biological clock. And that clock depends on two very specific places in your head. A cluster of 20,000 neurons above the optic nerve that tracks light, and the pineal gland, a gland the size of a grain of rice, the famous third eye. It releases melatonin. As long as light hits the retina, the gland stays quiet. When it gets dark, the melatonin party starts, and you begin to feel sleepy. That's just how directly light controls sleepiness. This clock runs your circadian rhythms. Based on them, we split into chronotypes. Early birds, night owls, and doves. The middle type, who are basically fine either way. The most extreme night owls are guys around 19 or 20. The midpoint of their sleep is around 5 in the morning. But after 30, almost everyone starts turning into an early bird. So that explains why seniors are always the first in line when the local grocery store opens early in the morning. And your chronotype is built into every cell. Inside each one is a tiny clock made of a couple of genes that completes a cycle in 24 hours. That's why a pastry at 8 in the morning can burn off during the day, while the same pastry at 8 in the evening is more likely to end up as fat. Your liver has already clocked out. Falling asleep itself is not a plunge into darkness. It's a descent through stages. First comes light sleep, the stage you can wake from easily and still feel fresh. That's the coffee nap zone. Then comes the bottom. Deep, slow-wave sleep. If someone wakes you up there, you can feel almost drunk with sleep and stay foggy for another hour. After that, the brain speeds up. This is REM sleep, the phase of vivid dreams. Your eyes move under your eyelids, while your muscles are switched off. The phases change every hour and a half, and toward morning, REM sleep is the longest. That's why the last dream is usually the one you remember best. Why do we need sleep at all? So the brain can rest? No, the brain never rests. During the day, it explores the outside world. At night, it explores the inside one. In slow-wave sleep, it monitors signals from the organs and helps repair the body, while brain cells shrink and fluid flows between them, washing out toxins, including the ones linked to Alzheimer's. Literal brainwashing, but in a good way. And most importantly, about 80% of your daily growth hormone is released during slow-wave sleep. It helps wounds heal, helps protect against hair loss, and helps burn fat. Yes, you lose weight in your sleep while doing absolutely nothing. REM sleep, meanwhile, cleans up your mind. It strengthens strong connections between neurons and cuts weak ones, like the face of some random guy from the subway. And now, the main question. How long can you actually stay awake? The official record was set in 1963 by 17-year-old high school student Randy Gardner. For a science project, he stayed awake for 11 days straight, 264 hours. No stimulant drugs, just cola, loud music, and cold showers. Here's what happened to him along the way. After just 1 day without sleep, the brain starts glitching, irritability, attention lapses. By 48 hours, you start experiencing microsleeps. The brain shuts off for fractions of a second while your eyes are still open, and you don't even notice it. After 72 hours, hallucinations begin. Randy mistook a road sign for a person and was convinced he was a famous football player. By the end, he couldn't count backward from 100. He kept forgetting what he was doing. His body, though, held up. The biggest hit was to the brain. Is there a limit at all? A hard one, yes. There is an extremely rare disease called fatal familial insomnia. A person gradually loses the ability to sleep at all, and after a few months, it kills them. So the answer is this. The record for staying awake is about 11 days, but after just 1 or 2 sleepless nights, the brain already works like it's drunk. You cannot go completely without sleep, period. Without sleep, the body literally breaks down. By the way, sometimes sleep breaks on its own. In sleepwalkers, movement and emotions switch on during slow-wave sleep, but memory and awareness stay asleep. There is also sleep paralysis. You wake up, you can't move, and you feel like someone is in the room. In Egypt, people say a jinn comes. In Italy, it's an old woman. And in places where kids grow up hearing these scary stories, sleep paralysis happens more often. In reality, it is just a border state between sleep and waking. Terrifying, but harmless. Finally, how to sleep according to science. Wear loose socks without a tight band. When your feet are warm, sleep lasts longer, and nighttime awakenings are 7 times less frequent. Any light is enemy number 1, even a street lamp shining through the curtains. Put up blackout curtains, and in the evening, use warm yellow lamps instead of blue screens. Air out the room, keep it cool, ideally between 60 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 to 20 degrees Celsius, with humidity around 55%. Choose a medium firm mattress. And the main thing to remember, sleep is not 1/3 of your life wasted. You sleep so you can live well during the day, and your whole waking day is one long preparation for sleep.